Greetings, my human friends. This is Rudolf of Germany, the tall white alien. And today, finally, I want to answer some questions many of you had over the last few years. Rudolf, the tall white aliens, as you say, live of emotional energy, and this is the food the tall white aliens use through their psychedelic mushrooms in order to create the universes. But why don't you finally leave us alone on planet Earth? Why don't you finally go where you belong, back to your planet, and let us humans take care for our own affairs? This way, all the negative emotions in us, they would wane, and we, the 8 billion single human beings on Earth, would live in peace and harmony. Often I hear this in the comment section. People send me emails and beg me, or even try to force their strong opinions up on me. Why don't we leave you alone, so you live a harmonious, peaceful, paradise-like existence on planet Earth? Well, we first of all do not use your energies, your emotions, and lead your emotions in a certain way, so you are going to be horrified, in pain, full of hatred and jealousy. And this we not only create but live of. No, we live of your emotions you already have discarded. You do what you do, and once you had an emotion, we use this emotion at a time period when you already are in another mental state and emotional state. So, for example, you are in pain, and this painful experience expels emotions. We take these emotions once you're already better and maybe you're feeling good or having a loving experience, which in turn we also use afterwards. So our use of your emotional energy, of your emotions, have no influence on that what you think, do, and feel. So don't blame us, the tall white aliens, for your misery, as many of you do over the years. Don't, besides that we taking your emotional energy, do not blame others for your miserable life. And that is a key point. Many of you say, if the world would be different, if the rich would not keep us down, if evil money would not exist, which I explained in the last video, then everything would be better. I would be better off, my family would be better off, I would not be unemployed, I would not be divorced, I would not be sick. Everything would be much better in this world if things in general would be different. This is the biggest mistake you can make. Since the universe exists, there always have been two sides to the coin. Positive, negative, light and dark, up and down, whatever you want. Without these differences, without these opposites, the world could and would not exist at all. So where there is happiness, there must be also misery. There where is love, there must be hate. Otherwise you could not distinguish one from the other. So the point is simply this. If you say, I am miserable because of this, and if the world would be better, and everything would be harmonious in this world, then I also would feel good. This is nonsense. You create your own world. You create your own reality. So don't blame others for it. If you don't feel loved, then do something about it. A good example, many black people blame white people for their misery. since hundreds of years. Slavery has been abolished 150, almost now 200 years ago in the United States. And still young black Americans are complaining if there would not have been slavery 200 years ago, if 400, 500, 600 years ago they would not have taken my grandfather out of Africa, today I would be better off and I would not sit here in this neighborhood and try to smoke a weed or something. I would be doing something much better right now if 600 years ago my grandmother would have not been deported from Africa. All this is nonsense. Some people, even black people, say if the white people would not have the power, if the white people and their money would not run the world, we would only us black people would exist, we would live in peace and harmony. If the original people, the black people, would be the only ones and we would share our planet, this would be paradise. Well, look at your neighborhoods right now. Is there anybody you would trust with the presidency of this planet? Do you really believe in these violent neighborhoods you're living in? There is a hope for a peaceful, paradise-like existence if you would have the power? I'm not saying white people are any better. Sure, white people are not better at all. But don't blame the situation right now on your very personal misery. This is the same thing. Black people blame the whites blame the blacks, and everybody has somebody to blame for their own very personal misery. Get yourself together. You have to dream up your own life, as we, the tall white alien, do for you. We dream up the worlds where you, in a microcosm in your own mind, can dream up your own part of it. It is up to you if it is positive or if it is negative. But if you choose to think negative all day, how terrible the world is, how poor you are, and if something would be different, then you would live different, then as long as you do that, you will be poor, you will be miserable, your children will see you being poor, and they will act the same way. You are responsible for the misery of the world. Yes, that's my statement today. You who is sitting there whining, complaining how poor you are responsible not only for your own misery, but for the misery of the whole world, because you are an example to the young people how miserable a person can be. Rudolf of Germany.